Welcome back to the Three Faces of Fantasy. Myself, Mojo, and my man over here.
What up, the guru?
All right, right now we're gonna do the wrap up on week 5, that total week wrap up, and move into the forecast for week 6. Get ready for another live episode here. We got through last week. If you had any good luck, hopefully you won your week in your leagues. Um, Myself, I did pretty well. A good strong 7-1 last night's game. We want to get through that, but first we did have a Sunday night game, Cincinnati and Baltimore. Uh, Quite an interesting week considering injuries and just a lot of odd calls. What's your feeling, Guru, on the last couple of games of the week?
Just disgusted, man. I don't know if that's to use the word of my nephew who's 6. Stupid. It's just stupid. Is what it is. I mean, Sunday night, we expecting a high. I mean, we expecting just fantasy numbers to be flying off the walls, and what we got instead was a wonderful score of 19-17, and Ravens, I guess, with a team that didn't not won at least, but Mark Andrews, he came to play. He did what he normally does. There's, some people are concerned. I received some messages. People are concerned about J.K. Dobbins. However, you got to understand, we knew he was going to be on a pitch count, so therefore he wasn't really the one that you wanted to have in your lineup as far as that particular game. That's why Drake had a lot more carries. And then on the other side of the field, Higgins I believe he only had 10 snaps and he was out. So that crushed a lot of lineups. Joe Mixon did what Joe Mixon does. And it was a complete letdown. Other than Mark Andrews, Lamar did what Lamar does. And Devin Duvernay, he actually showed up as well in place of the injured Rashard Bateman.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I went into that game myself thinking, wow, this is going to be a high scoring game. You got the Bengals, you got Joe Burrow, you got Lamar Jackson, you got T. Higgins, you got Joe Mixon, you got, all these weapons. And for it to come out 1917, I mean, you're not going to get so many fantasy points out of a game like that. Like you said, Mark Andrews, you can always count on. Jackson, you can always count on. Burrow so far this season doesn't look like the guy that we know from last year. So if you drafted him high, good luck. Hope you have a second quarterback. But yeah, so that game was a little bit of a letdown. And then moving into Monday, last night, that seemed a little iffy to me. Definitely some points put up more than Sunday night, but where they were going, I think, was more my concern. Where do you take on that?
I was a victim of a 211 penal code robbery. Let's just put it like that. Devontae Adams had a touchdown in the end zone. PI negated that. C. Edwards-Helaire came a fingernail away from a touchdown. And you would think that Kelce had enough. He had enough touchdowns already. Why in the
year
blank did they give him more love? Spread it around. Mahomes, your team is going to hate you. I hope you're listening. Patty Cake Mahomes, the rest of your team is going to hate you and your squeaky little voice because we don't know why you're not sharing the wealth. You got other people. You know what? I know what it is. Mahomes has him and Kelce on his fantasy team. That's what it is.
He must.
Gotta be. And Raiders, what are y'all doing? The man already got 2 on you. All right. He's Kelce. He's going to get that. You let them get 2 more? What are you doing? Play football, play defense. Let somebody, you never let their number one stud beat you. Let somebody else beat you. Let Pacheco just disgusting.
And the last touchdown, he was wide open. The funny thing is, as you stated, there was another Chief wide open in the same area, and he kind of stole the ball from him and was like, "Oh, my bad. I'll take the touchdown." No, like I thought that was pretty shady of Kelce. He's going further and further down on the list of people I like. But yeah, I didn't like that at all. There were quite a few calls in that game that could have gone the other way.
Man.
And, you know, I don't think these referees understand the ramifications that it has in fantasy, sir. Because you're talking about calling back touchdowns. You're calling strip sacks, roughing the passer. So it just, and the worst call of the night, going for 2 instead of tying it up and extending the game. I'll tell you what,
bro.
If they,
I needed the overtime for more points.
Right, that's what I was going to say. If they would have kicked the field goal, kicked the extra point, they tied the game. They had just stopped Kansas City. It would have been less than 2 minutes left, or about 2 minutes left. Count on your defense to hold them to no points on one more drive. You know,
in one league, I lost by 1.1, and I had Hilaire in the game. The guy I played had Kelce.
Wow.
And Snead.
Are you kidding me?
Safety on Kansas, right?
And please, everybody, welcome in that third face, Jay the Truth. If I can get this to add him on in. What's going on, Jay?
What's up?
What up, Truth?
What's up?
Yeah, we were just going over. We went over the Sunday night game, and we just hit up that quote unquote game from last night where the phantom calls and the penalties
and
penalties
poor coaching. The poor coaching.
Oh,
we were just elaborating on. You're going for 2 to try to go for the win with 2 minutes left when you could just tie it up and get those extra minutes. Guru would have probably won his game because he only needed like one more catch from one person or another couple of yards.
I just needed Hilaire to give me I just needed at least I think it was 13 yards or one catch for 1 yard, just something stupid. And I think there was like 4 minutes left on the clock when they went for that. I don't know. I'm just saying, if it's 10 minutes, if it's 10 seconds, then yeah, I'm with you. 4 minutes, come on,
man, play the game.
Somebody send me the application for a head coach job in Vegas.
Yeah, there's one open vacancy right now. Right,
I can do that part time. Now I don't want the Carolina job. I want the Vegas job. At least I can go kick it on the strip later on.
Right.
Hilaire was disappointing.
Man.
Kelce in there, he had like what 4 touchdowns and no yards.
There's other receivers on the team and other running backs. And the last one he got was actually he took it from a teammate. It looked like it was thrown to another teammate. He appears out of nowhere and snatched it out of air, and then looked at the guy like, "Oh, my bad." He. Like, that's not funny.
Oh, you wanted that? Oh, my bad. But hey,
it was probably Hilaire. It was probably Hilaire. Okay.
We identified that Mahomes has Kelce on his fantasy squad with a little squeaky voice.
Yeah.
He threw
I'm gonna throw it to you. I'm gonna throw it to you, Travis.
Now, I didn't bring up the squeaky voice. That's all gurus.
Yeah, that's all me. I want that smoke, patty cake, Mahomes.
And it's way squeakier than that, just so we all can be clear. Okay.
Yeah, I just can't get that squeaky, I'm not saying I'm a man, but I'm just saying.
In fact, he's been my downfall for the last couple of years in fantasy because I never have him, and I'm always losing to the team that has him. And I don't like the way he walks, talks, or throws the ball. So,
all right. Well,
moving on.
Where were you guys discussing? Where you at? What you doing?
We already went over Sunday night game. We went over the Bengals game and the Ravens game, and then we just hit up the Chiefs and Raiders game, and about to jump into the next topic.
Which we're going to go ahead and talk about it now. Talk about the elephant in the room because everybody is affected by it. This is the first bye week, guys. First bye week of the season. it's more than likely that either you or the person you're playing has at least one player that's going to be on a bye this week. There are some big names we're missing. Probably one of the biggest is isn't King Henry out this week? They don't play, do they?
Yeah. This bye week we got Titans are out, Texans, the Raiders, and the Lions, which means you probably without Henry, Pierce, Cooks, Carr, Adams, White, Waller, Smith, and ASB. I mean Goff and ASB and Swift.
Yeah, that's a lot of big names. You definitely want to get on that waiver wire tonight if you don't already have a solidified bench. I don't know. It's kind of rough because you're not going to be the only person trying to grab some of these players. We'll get into that in a minute, though. How you feel about this bye week, Jay?
Well, I'm not too affected by it. Most of my buys are a little later in the season. Yeah, I'm not. I'm hitting like week 14. Actually, week 7, I got a few out. But this week, only in 1 or 2 leagues, I had to switch out a player or two, but I wasn't too affected by it.
But what about you, Guru? I mean, is it all those names you rolled off?
Everybody's name I mentioned, I'm without except for Waller. Everybody except for Waller. Every single one.
Well, I hope I play you this week.
Don't worry, my bench will come through.
Yeah, I'm affected in a couple of leagues. And it's not only because of the bye, but it's like I've got the bye along with injuries. So you combine those two things, I'm down to like the 4th, 5th running back on my team that I have to throw in this week just to have a back in there. Wide receivers I'm not as bad at, but replacing a King Henry in my lineup is definitely challenging. So I've got to bump somebody up and see where the chips may fall. Hopefully I'm better at the other positions. Is there any other strategy you can think of other than, I know we can try to pull somebody off the wire. Who should we be looking for on the wire that you feel like is a viable replacement for somebody that you may have on a bye or may have gotten hurt?
This week is, you got Penny's out. If Ken Walker is on the waiver, but he's probably not in most leagues. But he looked pretty good last week filling in.
Yeah, I saw you had him in one of your leagues. I was trying to pick him up, and they were like, "Yeah, it's on this guy's team." When did you pick him up?
I actually drafted him. I was about to drop him. I almost dropped him last week. But Penny, I figure, he gets hurt a lot, unfortunately. But, other than that, Eno Benjamin, what do you think about Eno Benjamin? You think he's going to do something? Back up for Connor?
Yeah. In Arizona? Well, here's the thing about Eno Benjamin. He was the last man standing after Connor went out, and also D. Will went out, so he was the last man standing. And I don't know if y'all saw this, but Arizona just signed Corey Clement. So Corey Clement is on the way to help out that backfield. And so that's definitely that's a telltale sign of what Arizona has in store for their number 1 and number 2 backs. It kind of lets you know where it's at. So I think Eno Benjamin is a big pickup.
I'd like to say he's a big pickup, but considering Connor hasn't really done anything in the first 4 weeks, their offense has kind of looked atrocious most of the year. It just until the 4th quarter. I think we talked about that last week. They're a 4th quarter team, so you're counting on him, everybody on the team, Kyler Murray, Connor, and everybody else to get all their numbers in the 4th quarter. It's a recipe for not a lot of fantasy points.
Now don't get me wrong. Benjamin is not my highest pick. My highest pick is Walker, but then you also got a couple guys out there that are floating like Mostert He had 113 yards and a TD this week. And then if you skip over Benjamin, you still got Deion Jackson and in Indianapolis if Taylor and Naheem Hines are not going to be available, which it looks like maybe Taylor but not Hines. And then if you got to go in a deeper league, you got Gus Edwards. He's on his way back. He can't play this week. And Damian Williams is somebody you should consider picking up in Atlanta. You know, they're having their running back situation. And then Mike Boone. What do you think about Mike Boone? He might be in a deeper league, but for the Broncos backup to Javonte Williams being out and Melvin Gordon being the last man, what do you think about Boone in a deeper league? Probably like in a 14 team.
Yeah, he's a deep waiver wire pick, but I tell you, I mean, he didn't look terrible on that third. I mean, the whole game was terrible. But in the game, I mean, you got to think about if it was a game that flowed a lot better. I mean, he could have put up some decent points. He looked okay. I don't mind. I had to pick him up because I had Jonathan Taylor out, but you know, he put up some decent points for somebody I just picked up off the wire. We have to see how much run he'll get, going forward. But
yeah, I feel like Gordon is still the guy, regardless of whatever they do. Even if he's fumbling the ball, whatever, he's going to get the bulk of the carries. Not that I wouldn't pick him up. I mean, like you say, the running backs are getting real slim, real quick. The pickings, Mostert and Williams, a couple of guys you named, they shouldn't be on your waiver. If they are there, run out and grab them immediately. Yeah. You know, I don't think maybe one or two of those guys are on the wires, you know, that we're in. But for the most part, these people should not be on your waiver wire. If they are, you should really, really be on the waiver wire every week, picking up all these players that your other teams are leaving out there. I can see maybe in a 10-team league because, you know, your bench can only be so deep. But if you're in a 12-team league or more, most of those players shouldn't be on the wire this week.
Yeah, and then just to add, not somebody to add, but with the injury to Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, he stepped up and he did well. He has the Browns, Bears, and Jets, Colts coming up next, and then Jets again. So that's definitely somebody that you want to make sure you put into your lineup. We already talked about Dobbins earlier, but Singletary, I noticed something. I was looking at some stats. He didn't do well this week, but I was looking at some stats where he had 17% of the time where it was a competitive game. I mean, where it was a blowout, he only had 17% of the touches versus when it was a competitive game, he was more at 76%. So it's a little confusing as him being the RB1 on a high offense. You would think in the games that are blown out that he would be the one running, but actually that's when they throw it over to Moss or to the young rookie, Mr. Jay Cooks.
Yeah, you know, that has always been a confusing backfield. You know?
Yeah.
I try to stay away from Buffalo back. I mean, they throw so much for one, but secondly, it's always been a confusing backfield. I never know what to expect from it. But he has looked pretty consistent this year. You know, he's been in the passing game, so I can't knock him. But he's just not somebody I normally target.
So those are running backs that we're looking at. What about these wideouts? Not as many injuries, but a couple. And you still got people on a bye week this week. What do we look like on buys for receivers? Who are we looking for to grab off the wire to fill in, or who are you putting in off your bench even, you know?
Well, for me, as far as the wideouts goes, even before that, well, we had a couple of injuries. Like, we don't know if Bateman's going to come back. He should be. And if not, then you have Devin Duvernay. Dotson appears to be out. And Keenan Allen is supposedly going to play. So then that lowers the percentages of the other wideouts in LA Chargers outside of Mike Williams. He's still in number 2. And Mike Thomas is supposed to be back, which is right on time because Chris Hull has a concussion. And we don't know, you know, what his status is going to be with these new protocols. And Julio, you know, Julio is a Julio. So,
No.
right. Oh, Isaiah McKenzie. I forgot about that guy in Buffalo. He injury as well. And then you got, the New York guys, Robinson and Tony, and then your guy Higgins that got hurt after 10 plays.
Yeah, I was telling the audience, Jay, how I went into a game and my quarterback got knocked out on the first play of the game, and then my receiver got knocked out 10 plays in, and somehow I still pulled it out, Yay me.
Yeah, yeah. I was on the wrong end of that. My whole team, nobody showed up. Actually, that happened in both leagues, right?
I talked trash about Mike Williams, but he showed up for you. He had a nice game.
Yeah, he was the only one. That's all right. Fantasy players. I want to tell you, you don't get down when you have a down week. Keep playing through it. This is about the chip. All right.
Yes, sir. It won't be the first week you lose, and it won't be the last.
But yeah,
Well,
Mojo got me. Whatever.
Well, you asked about who would we pick up in this waiver. There are a couple people that you should probably not be out there, but check it onto. You got George Pickens. You got Pickett over there in Pittsburgh. And then Boyd, you want to take a look at him, especially if Higgins is going to be out. And then not to mention Myers, Mr. Jacoby Myers. Interesting PPR machine. He's been producing with either quarterback, so it didn't matter. He went 411 with a touchdown and had 34% of the targets. My guy that I really like is Alec Pierce out of Indianapolis. He's the true number 2. And this week, he looked like the true number 1. He led in targets and in yardage. And what else? New York, you got Slayton. And that's a confusion. Devin Duvernay, he had 3. He's good in the deep end. He's good for deep routes as well as short and kickoffs. And then lastly, I would say it's a couple more, but not Josh Reynolds. Khalil Shakir. He had 5 targets in this game with Isaiah McKenzie out. So that's something to take into consideration in Buffalo. And so
Sam McKenzie might play as well, though. But I'm almost to the point with Baltimore. Although they're, they look good, they can put up points, and they can win games. I'm a little Lamar Jackson's out because kind of like Patrick Mahomes, where you have all these weapons, but you keep feeding this one guy, and Lamar Jackson just keeps feeding himself. The running backs aren't getting the ball. The receivers aren't getting the ball. It's just like, oh, no, I'll do it. He might as well throw the ball to himself. I wouldn't even go out there if I was on the team.
Hey, Mark Andrews. Come on.
Oh, yeah. So
come on now.
He's the only guy he throws to, though. Like, he has Bateman, Duvernay. You got your backs in order, and he's still running every play. I swear last week he dropped back, threw the ball around down the field and caught it. Like, come on,
I saw that play. I saw that.
Yeah, I was amazed. Come on, man.
I think it went for 27 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they could be much better if he used the weapons around him. Just like, quite honestly, there's no reason that Kansas City couldn't have lost that game last night. Same reason, like throw the ball to somebody else, hand it to somebody else, something.
He's very selfish.
Yeah.
Not as selfish as Kelsey, though. But anyway.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Hurt.
How about tight ends? Any notable tight ends on the bye this week that you know of? I'm trying to think.
You said any tight ends on the bye that you're going to be missing or picking up?
Yeah, that you're going to be missing. Outside of Andrews
Waller
and Kelsey. Oh, yeah, Waller. But Waller,
we don't know what his status is, though. Remember, he got hurt.
Right.
I think he left he left early in the game, once like first quarter, and never came back, and he was listed out very quickly. And then, of course, in Detroit, you got the up and down of Hawkinson. So take that for what it's worth.
And both of those guys, you don't know what you're going to get out of them week to week. Waller could have 50 points this week and 10 next week.
Oh, I forgot my stud, OJ Howard in Texans. Yeah. Or not.
Oh
Or
yeah.
not.
He's out
Yeah.
this week. He's on a bye.
Yeah, man. You gotta hit the waiver.
Man. Make sure
Yeah,
you get another tight end. If you got Howard in there, make sure
Yeah,
you go ahead and drop him and pick up another tight end.
Well, I'll say a couple.
You can pick
tight
up
ends.
anybody. You can pick up
Anybody. You can pick me up.
The disrespect
I'm
is
definitely
so
on the waiver
real.
wire. It's Mojo. Okay. Dude.
Well, that's funny,
Yeah.
but not really though. That was a little mean. You don't think it's a little mean?
So if Howard is not on your waivers, any tight ends do anything that impressed you?
Wait, hold on. Before you go to that, you got to mention the other ones. We got a lot of injuries in the tight end room. You have what you got? You got Whaler's going to be out. Waller's going to be out, and then you have Pitt, who's supposed to be hurt. I don't know if he's hurt or injured or hurt feelings, but and you got Schultz, who's injured. Logan Thomas is out. Dawson Knox is out. Cameron Brace in a concussion. So there are a lot of tight ends that you're going to have to reevaluate the positions and then work towards the waivers.
And work out those. Yeah, you got to figure out how to replace those 3 to 4 points you were going to get out of most of those names. Even Knox, I'm so disappointed in Knox being in that system that he's in. I think he should be doing much more than he is. But yeah, these guys, most of those guys are. You can go on the waiver wire and pick up the top tight end if you need to fill that position.
Pick up Cole Kmet.
What? Cole Kmet? No.
Yeah. Hey,
No.
it's right now.
Man, I'll make you $1 bet right now.
He might catch a touchdown. You never know.
You know, I picked up Evan Ingram. I picked up Evan Ingram a couple of weeks ago.
Chicago might throw the ball twice this week. It's Thursday.
So.
Oh, it's Thursday.
All right. I see your Cole Kmet, and I raise it a Hayden Hurst.
No, a lot of people
Hayden Hurst in the last 2 games has scored in the last 2 weeks, especially with T. Higgins not being in the game, Joe Mixon not being that involved in the running game. I mean, in the passing game, I see Hayden Hurst definitely being a provider. And don't sleep on Mr. Double E, Evan Ingram. I know it's not a sexy name, but he had a season high touches and yards. So
yeah. I don't know why, but I picked him up 2 weeks ago in one league, and I already had a backup tight end. But something just told me to pick him up. Well, you know, and he's playing. Maybe I can use him for trade bait. If he has another good week, maybe I can, you know, get somebody that, because there's a lot. I've noticed in some of these leagues there are people that kind of run with one tight end because they figure, oh well, you know, I got Kelsey. You still need Kelsey's going to be off sooner or later for a week, and if you wait till that week to pick up a tight end, you're going to get somebody that averages 0.0 points per week. So go out and grab him now.
Yeah, I hear you.
You think about Mo Wiley Cox.
Man, what are you doing with these people? Mo Wiley Cox, you talking about Indianapolis? Bro, they have 3 tight ends. You never know who's going to get it. It can go.
Who's even going to be on the field to that matter?
Nah, I have to disagree
Mo
with you
Cox
on that
or
one.
Jelani Woods. Okay.
Man. And there's one more. You got people got what's his name? Right, exactly. Man, no way. There's no way.
What is his name?
Hey, before I do that, I'm gonna go and get K. Dotton in Tampa. He had 6 catches with 43 yards this week with Cameron Braid out. And that's with Godwin and Evans in the lineup. Not to mention Will Dissly, or can't pronounce it, but in Seattle, it's not the greatest name, it's not the greatest decision, but he scored in the last 2 games as well. I mean, and then hopefully David Njoku is not out there in waivers because he's a must start at this point.
Yeah, unless you have a stud already.
Indianapolis tight ends.
Yeah, I think the best strategy is to find the person with the best matchup and hope for a touchdown. You know,
Right.
But what about nobody's gonna mention Taysom Hill? Are we just gonna forget about that? We're just gonna skip over Mr. Hill.
Oh, what's his position? That's all I need.
Oh, he's the starting running back. That's
quarterback
listed as a
and
quarterback,
tight end.
but he tight end. Yeah, this is the tight end that hasn't had not one reception, but he threw a touchdown to another tight end.
Right.
Troutman.
And what's interesting is years ago there used to be players that would be listed in 3 different positions, which is great because it made it easier to fill in. If and in some leagues, I did see him in one of my leagues. He is listed he's quarterback and tight end in one of the Yahoo leagues I'm in, and
same here.
He's listed at that, so you can literally start him at either position, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, even in the CBS league.
I think it's unfair. I mean, the guy, stop it.
Well,
what is he playing this week, Coach? I think they need to be designated.
Well, you know what? There was an interview with the New Orleans coaching staff at the beginning of the season, during the preseason, and they asked him about that, and they said basically he's going to be playing in all 3 positions. I mean, in both positions, and so they can't identify him as one over the other because he is on the depth chart as a tight end actively and as a quarterback. So it comes down to what was that
week one he was like the leading running back. So what are we doing?
Well, okay, yeah.
I guess if you have a overall weapon like that, you should use it to its fullest. Maybe get you some wins in there, but I'm a little tired of Mr. Winston. Personally, these quarterbacks and running backs are dropping like flies. What about quarterbacks? Where are we going to get those? Because they are slim on the waiver wire. Is it time to start talking trade, or do you roll with the weak links on the waiver wire in a bye week or due to injury?
Yeah, see, we don't even know if Tua's going to be ready to play yet. I think they're already indicating that he's not going to play this next week. And then Geno Smith has been on fire. I know one of y'all picked him up before. So, that quarterback position is a very interesting one.
I mean, you can always run with Carson Wentz. Might be on the wire. A lot of people dropped him.
Yeah,
he may play quarterback this week. Depends on,
and he may not.
Good.
He may play ornament on the field.
He's got to keep your fingers crossed. So
tackling dummy.
If you don't yell at me, Jimmy G's playing against the Falcons this week. He's not, that's a team that you could definitely bounce back against. I wouldn't keep him after that, though, because then he has the Rams after the Chiefs and then the Rams. Going back to Jameis Winston, like you mentioned, he has the Bengals and then the Cards and then the Raiders. So those are, matchups that he can definitely take advantage of, especially with Mike Thomas coming back. And then Geno Smith, we said he has the Cardinals, the Chargers, and the Giants. So those are the next 3 matchups that you can definitely put some points up. And, Geno's been lighting it up against good teams. So good defensive squads. We thought he was going to, flounder against the Saints, and that was not the case.
Not at all. Yeah, Geno's been looking pretty good. If he's on your wire, I mean, I want to drop Russell Wilson for. I still haven't dropped him, and I've been talking about dropping Russell Wilson for 3 weeks now. I don't know what the whole.
You can't do it. Huh? You can't do it.
No, it was just looking at matchups. I'm like, he's got to get better. Now they're talking about he's got an arm injury. Actually, after Thursday, you can't drop somebody during the week or during the game. They won't let you do it if you got them in there. So, yeah, I definitely wanted to drop him, especially at the end of that game. A lot of these quarterbacks, some of them are looking bad because of their coaching too. So I don't know about him. I don't know if that's the case for him. I don't know if that's the case for Baker Mayfield. I don't know if that's the case for Derek Carr. I just don't know. But, a lot of this coaching situation is going to get interesting as the season goes on, because if they start changing coaches, it could change rotations for personnel, who's on your team, like does McCaffrey get better or worse with this coaching change, Does DJ Moore become that star that he is? Robbie Anderson, does he step up and become the number 1 with a new coach?
They
That's
need
if
a
one
new
of them
quarterback.
don't get traded. You know, Buffalo already reached out to Carolina about CMC.
Yeah, so is the Eagles and San Francisco and quite a few
Oh,
teams.
the
Yeah.
Eagles. I thought they had their franchise running back in Mr. Miles Sanders. What's up with that, Eagles?
Oh well, we could take two guys because they each play
Oh,
about
come
half.
on. There is not enough room on the
They each
field.
play about half a season, so that's one full season. We'll take
Moving on.
True.
it. I know Tampa hasn't called.
No, we have Rashad White following behind Leonard Fournette, so we good. Thank you.
First round exit, but yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, we got there last year though, not like Philly.
Oh, boy.
So anyway,
Where?
playoffs.
They weren't in the Super Bowl, that's for sure.
Playoffs. Hey, you got to get to the playoffs before you get Super Bowl.
So were the Eagles.
Really? I don't remember that happening.
Oh yeah, yes sir, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But anyway, moving along, we're gonna talk about defenses.
Yeah, that was next up on my list here. Defenses that you might want to stream this week. We got to look at the matchups. Do you really want to look at your matchups? Look at what the offense. I mean, if you've been following your league or anybody's league, you know what teams have been putting up numbers and which teams are not. So you got to kind of. It's not really a guessing game. There is a science to it, don't you think, Guru?
Nope, not a guessing game at all. It's not too difficult. I mean, I know San Francisco, they took 3 hits with Ward and Bosa and Mosley. So their line, their middle, and their DBs took a big hit in San Francisco. I mean, they're still a stud defense, but take that into consideration. Not to mention Baltimore lost their second DB. So that's something you really thinking, and keep in mind when you're picking your teams this week. But as far as who to stream or pick up, I mean, you got the Pats, you got the Patriots, they're playing the Browns, and then you got the Browns who's playing the Patriots. So go pick either one of them. And the one thing about the Patriots, though, after the Browns, they played the Bears, then the Jets, then the Colts, then the Jets. So that's a good team to pick up and stream if you don't have one to keep on your squad. The Jags, they played the Colts. And especially if Taylor's not playing, we saw what Denver was able to do to them. And then, I mean, some people were picking up Ravens against the Giants, and then they got the Browns afterwards. But I don't know. And then Chargers against Broncos.
That can go left on you.
Yeah.
Right.
No. But you got the Commanders playing the Bears.
Yeah, you could take either one of them.
Either one.
That could end up being a very low scoring game. In one of my leagues, I put in a claim for the Bucks because they're playing Pittsburgh. Yes, they are.
Why are they on? Hey, invite me to that
on the
league.
wire.
Invite me to that league next year.
And it's one of those leagues. I'm gonna drop the Bears and pick up the Bucks just for the week. Hey, that should be a massacre, to be quite honest. So, yeah,
the Bucks shouldn't be on waivers.
I agree.
Disrespectful.
Well, in that league, you can't carry. Well, you can carry 2 defenses, but the bench isn't that big, so not many people carry 2 defenses. So I just kind of stream every week. There's a lot of defenses on the wire. Let's see: Tampa, Baltimore, Cleveland, Washington, Arizona, Indianapolis, New Orleans, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Miami. All these teams are on the wire.
Yeah, one of those kids is not like the other. So I'm gonna still say. Especially this past week against Atlanta.
Yeah, they shouldn't be on the wire. I agree.
Well, you know what? I haven't been in a 4-person league in quite a while, so I understand.
Yeah, something's wrong with that.
Please.
Yeah. So
something is definitely
what
wrong.
do you think about that waiver move, though? Tampa for Chicago.
I don't normally give free advice, but what I would say is, truth. Are you able to pull up what's the over under, or pull up like what's the projected scoring? Because I would assume that the Chicago
projected for Tampa is like 55, and the projected for Chicago is like 49.
40.
49.
Can't be 49.
Yeah, they're
That's
playing
about-
Washington, and right now Washington is pretty terrible. But I don't think there's another team as terrible as Pittsburgh. And these are
Right.
projections. You
Oh.
know how those projections, depending on the position, they don't really get it right in these leagues.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, my eye test tells me that Tampa is going to run all across them.
Oh yeah.
And I don't
They
want a
are.
Thursday night defense anyway because I don't know what I'm going to get.
Really? Now see, if I do play a Thursday night, it'll be a defense because I know that the offense is not going to be up to par.
If it was a great defense, but the Bears are the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, that looks like that may be a really ugly game.
Yeah, because Pittsburgh has done. I mean, yeah, they changed quarterbacks, and they still terrible.
That's sad, man. That's
What was
sad.
the score the other day at the Pittsburgh game? What? A lot to a little. I don't have any. I have no stock in Pittsburgh in any of the leagues, yo. I really don't.
Not
Yeah,
one.
I got Fryermuth and DJ in a couple.
I lied. I do have Fryermuth. I sure do.
Well, you know, he got hurt too. I didn't mention his name, but yeah, he got hurt also. So you might want to really be you might have to go back to Evan Ingram, sir.
Yeah. And I don't mind doing that. It's no big deal. And finally, any kickers get hurt this week? I don't think I saw any kickers get hurt.
Yeah. Wait, didn't the Philly kicker get hurt? But I don't know. I'm not sure
about
about that.
Last week.
Yeah, he was already hurt.
But a couple kickers that I'm looking at this week.
What do you think about what's his name? Bicker? The kicker for Philly.
Bucker. Wait, for who? For Kansas City?
No, for Philly.
Oh, I don't know. I have to ask my Philly friends.
Yeah, he slated in for the starter.
Yeah.
For Ellie.
He made all his field goals, right?
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is he's not. It's unlikely that he'll be called upon to make a 50-plus yarder because we can move the ball. So if you're looking at 20, 30, 40-yard field goals, he'll be fine. I don't know if he's at Jake Elliott's level. Don't know enough about him. But if you need a kicker in a tight squeeze, this might not be a bad week to stream him because this could be one of those games where it's a lot of field goals kicked. I'm looking for touchdowns personally, being an Eagles fan, but considering the level of these defenses of both of them so far this season, could see a lot of field goals. So the Dallas kicker and the Philly kicker, I would stream them.
Well, I have three. That I would pick up for that are not startable but streamable. You have McLaughlin. He's against the Chargers. You also have Gano versus the Ravens, and then lastly Mason Crosby against the Jets. All three of those are teams that they should be able to move the ball down the field, but all three of them have been teams that have not been as successful punching it into the end zone over the last 2 weeks. So that's why I would say those. And I'm really big on kickers in the dome, so then McLaughlin will be my number one because they're playing in the dome on Sunday.
Makes sense.
Well, I'm thinking pick up NFC East teams. We normally play each other really tough. Normally. Sometimes we get some high scores, but the majority of the time, they don't score a whole lot. That might be a defensive game.
True.
Yeah, it annoys the heck out of me because I know we can put up points, but it's just, and that goes with most of the divisions. It seems like the divisional games it's just different. You don't know what to expect. Just like that Cincinnati Baltimore game. What is this? Seems like that every time they play.
Yeah.
Hey,
Teams
Mo.
know each other real well, you know.
Huh?
So teams that know each other real well,
Yeah.
same divisions, they usually play each other pretty tough. So
And Mojo, you asked a little while ago about ads, and unfortunately or fortunately, the only way you can add is you got to drop some people. So can I throw 10 names out to you both and just give me a
Yeah,
yay or nay?
let's see what you got there. Let's see what you got
All
there.
right. Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, you can add him. I don't know.
Add
Robinson.
him? No, I'm talking about dropping.
not yet.
Like I'm gonna give you 10 names and just give me a yay or nay. Would you drop these guys?
No, I wouldn't drop
Antonio
him.
Gibson.
I wouldn't drop him just yet.
All right.
Not yet.
True. All right. Next, Chase Edmonds.
Dropped already.
Yeah, drop him, yes.
All right. I see how this is going. Next, Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson?
Allen Robinson, LA Rams.
Yeah, drop him. I already dropped him.
That's a drop.
Next, Elijah Moore, New York Jets. I know you love your Jets more, Mo.
Oddly enough, he's not one of the ones I have. So yep, drop him. I've got three Jets on one team, and he's not one of them.
Yeah, I know I was talking about you on Sunday. What about you, True?
Elijah Moore is such a talent.
Yeah.
I might give him another week to see what happens. I think I think they're just still trying to figure out who's going to get the ball over there.
Well, they play the Packers this week, so go ahead and hold on to him then. What about Mr. Landry in New Orleans?
Drop him.
I wouldn't have had him in.
Yeah.
Julio?
I haven't liked him since the one time I did have him.
Yeah, I don't know why some of these people are on teams in the first place. Like,
was that your answer for Julio or for Landry or both?
Oh yeah, both.
Both of them.
All right. Then the next one is Renfro, Raiders.
No,
I'll keep him.
That was a trick question to see if y'all were just gonna say yeah. And then what about Conklin after the last two bad games in the New York Jets?
I don't know if I'm ready to drop him just yet. Just because Zach is just getting comfortable and all that. So there's still an opportunity. There's an upside there.
And then the last two, Dawson Knox, you talked about him earlier.
Hold on real quick. Conklin, at least he has up. But the thing is, when it comes to who you're going to pick up that has any more upside than him, that's the thing.
Yeah. I really look at the wire,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good point.
Knox, while early in the season, I was ready to drop him. You got to hold on to him because the offense he's in, he has an opportunity to. Again, the ceiling is too high to kind of put him out on the wire. You drop him, somebody's going to pick him up immediately.
Well, somebody dropped him last week, and I left him right there. He's hurt right now. Then the following week, he has a bye. So, it just depends on how much room you have on your bench. And then the last one is Mike Gesicki. What you got for Mr. Gesicki?
Drop him.
He got a touchdown last week.
Oh, How many is that on the season?
I think.
I can tell you how many more than Pitts.
Oh wow, yeah.
Pitts never gets touchdowns.
Oh yeah, yes.
I
hope it's not at practice, but yes,
at the position, if they get you yards, it's still very valuable. Like in some instances, I'll take the guy that gets me 70, 80 yards over the guy that gets 8 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and then the issue with Gesicki isn't because Gesicki can get there, but the quarterback situation right now, that's the issue with them. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
All right, I got a couple of names. Russell Wilson.
Keep.
I'm holding on to him.
Old.
All right, then I don't feel bad. Teddy Bridgewater.
You just don't like Russell Wilson.
I don't like. I never liked.
Why did you draft him?
Because he was the best thing available.
Hey,
Not even quarterback, the best thing available. You know what I'm saying?
He
Am
been
I in that
talking.
league with you?
I've never
Am I in
liked
that
him.
league with
I've
you?
never had him before. I always talk bad about him, and he would always do these dumb running around for 20 minutes and then throw the ball real far, and somebody else, the defender, got tired. And anyway, and now when I do have him, this is what I get.
Well, if I'm in a league with you and you have him, you could trade him to me.
Okay, bet. Who you gonna give me? I'll let you know. I'm gonna send that trade over tonight.
I keep telling you that my office is open, but you never make an appointment.
All right, I'm gonna send that trade over tonight. All I know is
I'm gonna make him an
last
offer he
week
can't refuse.
I received an inquiry about Mr. Chubb. And this had to be like right before Thursday night football. It was this loon in my league.
Oh, unfortunately, your connection just messed up and no one was able to hear you. So sad.
Okay. Good.
So
Because we
sad.
don't want them to know about the crazy people in some of these leagues. Ask me about Mr. Chubb. I kindly said I'd look over the offers and everything, but he's one of those that are the what do you call it? The
Untradeable.
yeah.
Everybody has a price.
Between he and Mr. Eckler, I have a shot every week.
Everybody has a price. What you gonna do when one of them get hurt, man? You know, Eckler is losing
Put in
touches.
Montgomery. I got him in like every league. I'm sure I could just plug him in,
Eckler's losing 26% of touches to Kelly already.
Yeah, I could tell last week.
Yeah, well, you'll be able to tell again next week.
Yeah. Well, he got me 72 points. So if that's
this week,
if that's 17, missing 17%, I'll take it.
That was different.
That was different. Any given Sunday. I like guaranteed money. I don't like playing for house money. I bring my own.
He's been getting better each week.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chubb has been consistent as they come. I really believe, he's the most consistent back in the league, week in and week out. There's people that argue Saquon Barkley and maybe Derrick Henry, but they're not as consistent as him. I mean,
I would say Chubb has. The thing about Chubb is not only is he consistent, but he's doing it with a backfield threat. And he's doing it on Kareem Hunt right there. Whereas Saquon and King Henry, they have the backfield to themselves. So
right. But even though he is splitting, they run the ball so much. He's getting 20 touches and Hunt's getting 15. That's amazing. Both of them are serviceable. I would, if I had both, I would run them both every week.
That's nice. Fun fact. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna bring up Mr. Breece Hall. I threw this man in the lineup in 2 or 3 leagues this week, and he really showed up. I'm hoping it's a sign of things to come.
Well, it's not. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna fail miserably because I was gonna try to trade you for him, and I know you didn't play him last week, and I was like, I don't think he know what he got. So,
I threw him in there, boy. And one league I actually have him and Carter, and I'm like, well, this guy, if anything happens to him, I got another one. Got to be prepared for anything.
Yeah, that's what True told me. What about Cam Akers? How y'all feel about him?
Breece Hall's he's been showing signs for the past few weeks, though.
Yeah, he's another one that he's trending up every week.
Yeah. So that was his breakout last week, but he's been showing signs for the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
We talked about him on Sunday. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's up about Cam Akers? Are you out?
Not yet.
Okay. Darrell Henderson then?
I don't know. Would you ask Guru?
Oh, Darrell Henderson?
We didn't finish with Cam Akers.
Oh.
Cam Akers sucks, but the upside is, they really want to. They want him to be the one.
Yeah, Sean McVay. You keep on saying that.
So it's hard to let them go, but you want them to actually do something.
How long do you hold him though? Like I'm saying, I wouldn't drop him right now, but then, if it's like 2-3 weeks from now and you're still getting what you're getting, and to be honest, they don't look like they're improving.
I was gonna say it's hard to get your number one running back the ball when you don't have the ball because your quarterback keeps giving it to the other team. And about 4 of my leagues, Cam Akers have been on waivers for the past 2 weeks, and no one has touched him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Including me. But then my running back room is nice, so I'm not in need.
Yeah.
People have been trying to trade him.
Is he even worth picking up and stashing for a bye week? Because all he's going to do is disappoint you in that bye week. So I can see how he's there, how he's still there.
I thought about that, and I looked at the bye weeks for my stud running backs, and one of them had the same bye week as Cam, and the other one, I think, whoever the Rams are playing, it wasn't going to be a favorable matchup. So I opted out.
Like, so speaking of the Rams, it's like Cooper Kupp, and that's it.
No, wait. Tyler Higbee.
Yeah.
Tyler Higbee. I mean, you got to understand
when you can have a decent week, but he's not, he's not going to win. Well, he could win you a week here or there.
Yeah, he's
all right. Well, Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee, but they're so one-dimensional. Like, it's unbelievable to think that they were in a Super Bowl. Like, seriously?
Well, you know what? That's something I was going to mention on Sunday. We ran out of time, but it's interesting to think the two teams that were in the Super Bowl, the Rams and the Bengals, you look at them now, and they don't look like Super Bowl teams. I mean, I know they talk about Super Bowl hangover, but come on now. It's been time for you to sober up. Get it together. We're in week 5. And the Rams, the thing about Higbee, when you put him in your lineup, you're not going to get a touchdown. So you just pretty much going, all right, I'm going to get 7 catches for about 69, 70 yards, and then that's all I need. Don't even count on a touchdown. We're not talking about Njoku or anybody else. We're talking about the Rams and Higbee.
Same thing with Cooper Kupp right now. Honestly, he's just racking up a bunch of yards. They're not putting up points. They, like you said, these Super Bowl teams don't look like they did last year, and a lot of people drafted according to them looking like they did the second half of last year. I think a lot of it had to do with momentum. They were just in a zone, and so maybe some of the matchups they had. But they played some. I mean, they're not. It's not like they're playing the best team in the league every week. So it's really a significant drop off from being in the Super Bowl to having people drop your players off their fantasy team.
Do you think Matthew Stafford think it's got something going on with his elbow?
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys go back to our episode 3, I believe episode 1 or 2, in week 1, I told you that I didn't draft Matt Stafford or anybody on the Rams because of his elbow concern, and they try to downplay it, but I didn't have any confidence in him whatsoever, and so I don't have any of those. I picked up Higbee.
We've all seen this guy play like his whole career. The ball does not look right. The ball, he can't get any follow through. It's like the ball is coming out and just floating every time.
That's why I like Higbee. Because he ain't got to throw far. And that's why Kupp can get some pretty much because he can get close to the line of scrimmage as well. Something you brought up, Truth, on Sunday that thought about again was about the Houston wideouts, Brandon Cooks, and I believe you was mentioning Nico Collins. And so I wanted to get your take on it, Mojo, as far as which wide receiver you think is the true number one, and does Brandon Cooks have the chance to be what you drafted him to be?
Depends on the quarterback situation, to be honest.
It's going to be the same quarterback. There's no help on the way. It's Davis Mills, ride or die.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. My man about to come back. So that's going to be that's that you're not going to know who's the true number one until then. So,
Well, I got a fun fact for y'all. Did you guys already hear about the fun fact with Jalen Ramsey?
no.
In his entire career, out of his entire career, and I believe it's 96 games, Sunday was the first time that he recorded a sack.
Oh wow.
Fun
Really?
fact.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah, I had to fact check it, and it checked out. I was like, wow, really?
Yeah, we're talking about you like you are the man, and really,
Right.
you're kind of overrated, buddy. You know,
All
It's not-
these
it's not that
years,
he has to get sacks because but I mean, you would think
I mean,
in
yeah,
96
you would think the
games.
scheme that he's been in, all these
Yeah.
years that he's been playing, he and I have had the same amount of NFL sacks. I didn't
Yeah,
even know.
400 quarters, you
Didn't even
couldn't
know.
manage a sack.
Yeah, like what's he been doing? So what's he been doing all this time?
Just
Playing
coverage.
defense, just covering.
coverage.
He just
Just
covering.
coverage. I just thought that was a fun
And
fact.
he's not real good at that right now, so he's trying to open up the book of tricks, I guess,
Wow.
Mhm.
because they are losing. Aren't they
So-
2-3?
Something like that.
Yeah, interesting. These LA teams are disappointing, huh?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not LA.
LA's got a whole thing going on. They
I
got
know my squad.
city council turning against them, football team, like everything.
Well, that's because they out there eating alfalfa sprouts and putting out brush fires. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, come on, man.
Right.
What's going on with LA over there, man?
Well, I will say the LA fans and the Cowboy fans, they had something in common this past week. They booed the mess out of Kim Kardashian. I think they booed her out of the stadium. So that was interesting.
Why?
Because she's Kim Kardashian.
Nobody likes her.
Kim Kardashian. I could go deeper into that, but that's a
Nobody
political
like
conversation.
I didn't know
my
they
answer is
paid attention to her like that.
well, my answer is very political, and that'll be on a different podcast.
Yeah, we'll do that
Yeah.
on a different show. We say that for Sunday because the she ain't dead, so I can't say
Hey.
Yeah, please stop.
We got all the way to the end. Yes.
Well, since we're jumping off topic real quick, again, guys, I want to let y'all know we will be getting by the time basketball season starts, we're going to be doing something for fantasy basketball as well because we are fantasy heads. So this is the real deal. And on that note, what do you think about Draymond Green?
I don't. I never have. I don't now, and I never will.
Oh, I just find it very disrespectful. You don't do that to a teammate, sir. We could jaw at each other and even tussle and things, but that was a street punch. That was Kensington Avenue.
What did he do?
They was talking. Him and Jordan Poole were talking, and they got in a verbal altercation. He walked over to him.
I mean, what was the verbal altercation? That's what I mean.
Well,
Well, apparently
Poole
Jordan Poole has been cocky because he getting this new contract, and Draymond don't like it. And so then when he walked up on Jordan Poole, he pushed him in the chest, pushed him in the chest.
Yeah.
And Draymond hit him like a grown man in the street that ran up on somebody that they can't stand. So, I mean, I can't say it wasn't justified because somebody mushed me like that. I might have done the same thing. But yeah, there's that. I'm not drafting either of them in my fantasy. I might draft Poole because even after that, 2 days after that, he came out and lit it up against the Lakers. So all he worried about is getting his check.
After he got punched, huh?
Yeah, got knocked smooth out.
All
He
right.
got knocked down. He didn't get knocked out. He got knocked down.
Well, I saw him drop, and to me, he looked like he was probably unconscious. There was a lot of people around after that. His whole head, neck, everything. Yeah, he got knocked out, bro. He got deboed.
Well, at least he got focus.
In one eye, at least.
So
Yeah.
Thursday, we said it's Chicago against who again? You said it was Chicago, the defense against
Tampa.
no,
No, that's not Thursday. But,
Chicago.
Washington.
oh yeah, Washington. Yep.
So who are you starting, if anybody?
Ugh. I'm still stuck in a league with McLaren. He's
Don't say
some
stuck.
some weeks he can actually, do something, but that all depends on Wentz, and even the coach recognizes it. He said, "What's the problem with you guys? The quarterback." So
I think T Mac's gonna have a big game this week against that Bears secondary, especially with Dodson out and Samuel's banged up, Thomas is out. I think I hate to say it, I hate to agree it, but yeah, I think T Mac gonna have a good one this week.
and of course, I'm stuck with Montgomery in a couple of leagues. So
there are worse things to be stuck with.
yeah, with my with the situation with the bye weeks and like one league I have Derrick Henry, so I've got to throw him up. I had him in my flex, but I've got to throw him up as a 2-1 and run a receiver in my flex. So, but he's while he's never, I don't think he ever gets me like one of those great games like the top 10% of backs. But he never disappoints. He never just gets me a dud, or rarely, I'll say.
As long as he plays a full game, you're right.
Yeah. As long as he plays the full game, he
maybe it'll be a Mooney and Komet day.
Oh boy, maybe it'll be the McLaurin and Montgomery day. Let's just do that.
Well, I was just
Let's
saying
keep it
Komet
there.
for truth.
I'm not playing Wentz. I mean, I'm not picking him up. Although if McLaren has a good day, that means Wentz is having a good day. But if it almost feels like the end of his tenure in Philly, where he's disconnected, and the coach is already kind of turning on him. Once that happens, he's gonna go and pray about it and disconnect from the team, and he's gonna be traded again if he has a job.
Would it be crazy if I told you that Fields might walk away as a QB 1/2? Would that be crazy?
No.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it again on Sunday.
Sounds good. Also on Sunday, guys, we're gonna since this is the 3 Faces of Fantasy, we're gonna start incorporating our actual league, so you guys that are watching can actually see what we're talking about here. That practical application of the the concept of fantasy, so we can actually see in real time what's going on. And Sunday, no time like Sunday, where you got some games that have already been played and some that are going to be played, so you can see how tense it gets. I look at some people online on some social media, and they're posting their scores. They start off hot, and then later that day they got another post with, yeah, you're losing by 100. So it is a real time thing, and we want to be able to share our experience with you, so maybe you can relate a little more and get a little more insight on moves that you can make to make your team better. Maybe some situational things that whether they're in a dome, whether it's raining, is your starting quarterback hurt, is your running back banged up. Just practical application to what we do here to make it a little more interactive for you guys and for us to have a little more fun and talk a little more junk. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any last thoughts, Jay, for this week 6 thrashing I'm about to put on?
I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
That's my last words. Those are my last.
I like it.
Well, welcome to the party, Mojo.
Yeah, man, I can dig it. You dig it? I'm gonna do mine myself. Oh, that got to be Guru.
Whatever. It was not. That was not. The last thing I will say is just leave you with. Don't forget, if you are playing David Montgomery or T-Mac, take them out of your flex position and put them in their regular positions, so that you can capitalize on that spot in case you may have to do a pivot. Especially we're in bye season, so in case you have to pivot come Sunday, you'll have that flexibility. That's all I got.
I don't know, Guru. On that, that's the third week that I gave him that advice, and I do the exact opposite. The person that I'm unsure about, I make sure to put but Thursday. You're talking about so Thursday nights,
Right.
I still put them in my flex because then I can put whoever I want off my bench in there, a tight end, a wide receiver, or a running back.
No, let's say you're playing David Montgomery, and if you put him into your flex position, and then let's say, I mean, I know you don't have Henry, but let's say you have Henry and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and they're going to be your running backs. But let's say Sunday or Saturday, one of them catch COVID or gets into an accident, and they're not going to be able to play. At this point, you're going to be tied into. You're going to have to play a backup running back. You may not have a backup running back, but if you have played Montgomery, if you have played Montgomery in the running back spot, now you have that spot open for a running back, tight end, or a wideout.
I'm not. First of all, if they look, you see how I go. Look. If they come with a zero, they come with a zero. I'm hoping the rest of the team can make up for it. I had 2 zeros this week. 3
big mistake.
I had Bridgewater.
All I gotta say is that would be a big mistake. Big mistake.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. No, I get your concept now because to me, I do the opposite. Like my Thursday player. No, Thursday player put in their position to leave your flex open. Yes, sir.
That's actually happened to me before. That's when I stopped playing Thursday guys and flexes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're in their positions right now as we speak. So thank you for that. And I'm sure our fans will thank you for that as well. That is excellent advice. I never was put in that situation, but definitely sounds like sound advice. We do want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're watching live or tuning in later on. Continue to watch. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share our content, please. We're
sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, and we are getting more content for you. We're going to get more content every week. Like I said, we're going to do something with basketball. As far as these weeks going, we are in the second quarter of the season already. You should be positioning yourselves to make the playoffs. I know a couple of leagues I'm in, I'm struggling, maybe 2 and 3. You can still get there. Believe in yourself as I believe. Oh, no. All right, but thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in.
All right.
Until Sunday. This is the Three Faces signing off.
Peace.